Unit 28. The Speed of Light. On clear nights, stars from distant galaxies are easily observed by those on Earth because their light has traveled years through the vacuum of the universe. Light can travel through a vacuum or empty space. A laboratory experiment demonstrates this. When air is pumped out of a glass vacuum chamber that contains a ringing bell, the bell remains visible while the sound fades away. The vacuum cannot transmit sound waves, but light rays continue to pass through it. It is much easier to describe the interaction of light with matter than to explain light itself. One reason for this is that light cannot be seen until it interacts with matter. A beam of light is invisible unless it strikes an eye or unless there are particles that reflect parts of the beam to an eye. Also, light travels very fast. For centuries, scientists disputed whether it required any time for light to move from one point to another. The Renaissance scientist Galileo suggested one of the first experiments to measure the speed of light. Italian scientists carried out his idea. Two men were stationed on two hilltops. Each had a shaded lantern. The first man was to uncover his lantern. As soon as the second man saw the light, he was to uncover his lantern. The scientists tried to measure the time between the moment the first lantern was uncovered and the moment a return beam was detected. The speed of light was too fast to be measured in this way. Therefore, the scientists concluded that light traveled instantaneously. In 1675, Olaus Romer, a Danish astronomer, was dealing with a different problem when he came across a method for measuring the speed of light. He was timing the eclipses of Jupiter's moons and noticed that the time between eclipses varied by several minutes. As Earth approached Jupiter, the time between eclipses grew shorter. As Earth receded from Jupiter, the time between eclipses grew longer. Romer proposed that these discrepancies be used to calculate the time required for light to travel the diameter of Earth's orbit. Since the exact size of Earth's orbit was not yet known, and since Jupiter's irregular surface caused errors in timing the eclipses, he did not arrive at an accurate value for the speed of light. Still, Romer had demonstrated that light took time to travel, but was too quick to measure with instruments then available. Unit 29. Change is good. Certain animals and plants develop characteristics that help them cope with their environment. This natural process is called adaptation. Traits developed through adaptation may help plants and animals obtain food or shelter, or they may provide protection and help in producing and protecting offspring. The better adapted organisms tend to thrive, reproduce, and pass adaptations to the next generation, resulting in the evolution of more organisms that are better fitted to their environments. Each organism is adapted to its mode of life in a general way and to its own distinct niche in special ways. A plant, for example, depends on its roots to anchor itself and to absorb water. It depends on its green leaves to use the sun's energy to manufacture food from inorganic chemicals. These are general adaptations common to most plant life. In addition, certain species of plants possess special adaptations. The mistletoe, for example, is a parasitic plant. It lacks true roots, but anchors itself to the branches of trees from which it absorbs water and chemicals. In order to survive, the mistletoe must establish its parasitic relationship with a suitable tree. The mistletoe is also dependent upon insects to pollinate its flowers and birds to disseminate its seeds. Many animals have adaptations that help them elude predators. Some insects may resemble a leaf or a twig. A chameleon's skin coloring changes so that it blends with its surroundings, and the coats of deer are colored to blend with their surroundings. A deer's behavior is also adaptive. It has the ability to remain absolutely still when an enemy is near. Favorable adaptations may involve migration for survival under certain conditions of temperature. Some organisms can create part of their own environment, as warm-blooded mammals do. They have the ability to adjust body heat to maintain temperature despite the changing weather. Some adaptations to temporary situations may be reversible, as when humans become suntanned. Usually adaptations are an advantage, but sometimes an organism becomes so well adapted to a particular environment that it finds it difficult to adapt to new conditions. For example, the huia bird of New Zealand depended upon a close collaboration between male and female. The male chiseled holes in decaying wood with its stout beak, and the female reached in with her long, slender beak to capture grubs. When New Zealand was deforested, these birds could no longer feed and soon became extinct.